What is the meaning of life?
Stop thinking so much about life. Life is made out of actions, because it's not gonna fly around somewhere and by luck you're gonna grab it. You find something and give meaning to it, something you like to spend your time with, something that gives you purpose, then no need to wait for the sense of life to come. What it means is you start to create that life that you would like to live.
When there was the switch to the next year, many people always have their new plans and new ideas. What's going to change in the next year and what you're gonna start to let go of, and what maybe is going to be something new that you are starting to integrate into the next life. Sometimes it's also good to realize whether you are already sometimes caught within some type of a habit, and to take a step back, especially at these times when anyway things are slowly getting more quiet. I would suggest that everyone takes a personal small retreat. That means retreating back to yourself and really ask yourself that question. What is it essentially that you are looking for living this life? Regardless of how old you are right now, how much of where you want to go did you achieve already? And also, are you actually still finding yourself on the way to wherever you wanted to go? So first of all, before we even know which future direction you would like to go towards, number one is we need to know where are we actually standing right now. Observe your surroundings. They can give you an indication where you are right now. Look around you, one indication. Second of all, look inside of you. How do you feel about the way of life that you are at the moment living? You had almost 365 days from that current year right now. How do you feel about it? Where did it brought you? Where did you decline? Where were you able to increase something about you? So number one is find out what is the status quo. Where are you located at the moment? And it is similar, like sometimes in a few Buddhist stories we are saying, before you know in which direction to sail, first of all, you need to know where you're located. Because the journey is not for everyone the same. In the way of what we are trying to share, we are trying to share methods, certain principles. But ultimately what needs to be done is that an individual person is starting to take all of these methods and applies them very specifically to your own personal way of, let's say, understanding. Not just to stay in the world of thinking about these things, thinking about the outcome and thinking about what they just felt, because to manifest them and writing them down gives another quality to it, let's say. And so therefore, yes, what you want, what you create in the mind, it's all about manifesting. If you are starting into the next year, into your next period, but you keep on having the same things over and over again that are already inside of you since the last 20 years, nothing too much new gonna come, because there is something already too hard inside of you. You're stuck already with a conceptual view about how this life is supposed to look. And this is sometimes why we call, you have the physical practice to keep your body healthy and running along this lifetime. But then we have the spiritual practices, the ones that don't have so much to do anymore with the physicality. They have something to do with opening up, allowing your mind to get free of the concepts, get free of the things that have been accumulating inside of ourselves, and that from time to time then start to block ourselves. And this is why we have those physical practices, mental practices, and both of them, the more you're able to let go, the farther you're going to proceed. The more your willingness and your ability to let go, the more changes are gonna come. It's just like this. For new things to come, old things must go. And now, just as I mentioned, there is the willingness, first of all, to let go. And then there is your skill level, your abilities. Can you even if you want. There is a certain degree that you can already help or support yourself in letting go, learning what does it mean to let go. But sometimes there are also things that are caught within us that you just cannot reach by yourself. And this is the moment where sometimes you need support, where sometimes even if the willingness is there and you even maybe can see what it is that is stuck inside of you, but sometimes you need a person, more persons, or sometimes you need an additional support to get rid of it. And who are the ones that are able to proceed from there on? Only the ones that went deeper. And this is where it's ending once again, why we have walls around here. Because you have a lot of time for yourself. And if you are putting the right effort into it, the right concentration to it, and the right meditation to it, there is a type of depth that you can then develop, which an average person normally does not have the time for. Everybody can achieve it if you are investing enough of the effort, enough of the training into it, enough of the time in really watching inside of yourself. Let's say I'm starting my project, and once I'm clear for myself, this is the one I take. This is the one I take. Then meanwhile, I don't even have doubt that this idea in here will take reality. I don't even have that doubt that it will not take place. Because for me right now, it is that I try with my intentions. Just figure out right now, who else? What else do I need? What is it that is in my hands right now to make that plan come true? Which obstacles do I maybe have to remove? And which other people or other things do I maybe need to take in that idea? And then it starts. If I have some people on my mind, the writing starts, the contacting starts. If I see already, okay, there are a few obstacles right now we need to get rid of, then the daily work goes into, okay, remove the obstacles. And yes, and why I am saying that at the moment I am trusting this process so much, that I'm trusting that idea so much that it will come real, is because I'm clear of my intentions. And as arrogant as it sounds, but I do think that this intention is very much in line of what I think this world is needing right now. We used to say in our tradition, for example, if something appears in your lifetime that you like, you see something that you like, or you hear something that you like. So something comes there into your lifetime and you like it. Then we say, don't pull. If something appears in your lifetime that you don't like, that means that you would normally reject. There we say, don't push. And where does it come from? And in this example, it means if I start to pull it towards me. So I like it, that's why I want to keep it as good as I can, and I want to bring it even closer to me than it really is. Then what is going to happen is one day when the time comes, whatever you try to pull towards you, it's simply going to move even away from you. At the same time, something comes and you rejected it right from the beginning. It's just a question of time until whatever you push away from you starts to move very close to you. You just need to watch around you from the moment that we are born. From the moment that we are born, your amount of inhalation and exhalation is exactly 50-50. The amount of days and the amount of nights until right now, it's 50-50. Yeah? So that means it looks like this nice wave function, this waveform. And in many different traditions, it's a simple expression that we say, nothing stays the way how it is. Success never stays success, because success is based upon failure. A healthy person never will stay only healthy. He is healthy because sickness exists. A rich man never stays rich forever. He's only rich right now because poorness also exists. And now the question is like this. If you realize this for yourself and you see that yes, somehow right now it's really good, my business is going good, my health, I'm really fine, everything is great. But then you also realize, yes, but now I'm at this one. Now I feel like now I'm about to lose a lot of things. Now it's not working good. I don't know what's wrong. So then you invest again energy and push yourself up. And you realize, I have the skills, I have the knowledge, I know how to do it. That's why it's working. But no matter how hard I try, again, it starts to descend. It's like it's not in my hands anymore. And then for us, the question is simply like this. After you are observing this type of structure of life, often enough, maybe one day we're gonna ask ourselves, there must be another way of handling and walking through this lifetime without always being caught inside these up and downs of life. Yes, and this is how I would at the moment express what that whole expression and idea is about: harmony, about balance, about stability, about unity. It means that you feel into your life right now, feel inside how you feel about your life right now. And now everything that you are doing, try to make it in such a way that your feelings on the inside do not have huge fluctuations. Yeah. So that means somebody gives you a present, and normally before you would be very, very euphoric. So you had this great happiness rising. Practice a little bit. Don't let it rise too quick. So somebody give you a present. You can be still very, very thankful you are. But your emotional state is not rising. Yeah? At the same time, before, somebody maybe from your team, he told you, oh, I'm sorry, but this one project I tried, it didn't work out, so no results there. And normally maybe before we would be angry and would be sad about it and would say, oh, what the hell, yeah? But this time it's just like, even with this bad message inside of you, don't let it drop. It doesn't drop, it remains. Yeah? And in a way that means this is just the first beginning to learn and control yourself. That you are not following these fluctuations of lifetime. It doesn't mean you cannot at every time. You can still decide, but now I want to be happy. Now I want to have this expressive feeling. This is not a problem, but only after you have learned that you can also remain in a stable state. Because what is the advantage of this stable state? You know what you can build your life upon. No matter if you are going to be rich in this lifetime, you don't lose yourself. Yeah? If somebody insulting you very, 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 very much, you know you are never going to lose yourself. There is that one person in this lifetime that that person cannot be raised more than he is, and he cannot be lower more than he is, because he has always been stable. No matter how many compliments you give him, he will always remain stable. He won't raise up. No matter how much you insult him, you cannot insult him, because you cannot get him down, because he is always remaining in the stable state. He's unshakable, and this is in a way maybe and 100% compatible when it comes to striving for something. It's just that during the times things are going to change. Nobody in the Shaolin Temple, not from the Shaolin Temple in China, and not from the Shaolin Temple here, and not in any other martial art aspects, has ever came out a very highly skilled master or grandmaster or teacher or instructor who did not somewhere in his mind had the willpower to strive for a better version of himself. Yeah? Those skills did not come from sitting and dreaming about having them. They came because you could see yourself evolving to a better version, and that's why you took the initiative and pursued that goal. And if this better version of yourself now involves physical skills, or if it involves mental skills, or if that if that additional benefit means financial wealth. At the end, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's always worthwhile to strive for something that you regard as important for your life. But now comes the point. We are regarding these things as important for our life. But now you ask yourself the question, what is going to happen when a martial art practitioner, you from the Shaolin Temple, now you are still physically active. Now you can still perform a lot of different things. You can still express everything that you have attained through all this hardship and the training. But you're also getting old. So maybe in 5-10 years, you can't do all of this anymore. So how are you going to feel about it? If I would have not stopped, or if I would have not paid close attention already, to not rely my being only on these physical abilities, it would probably be really hard. It would be really hard to realize that others, they are younger, others, they are having more time for training even. So it's impossible to rely my being on something that I have attained. Something that you have attained, you are going to lose. Attainment is there because you can lose it. But attainment also means it's not you. You are the one who can attain things. That's why don't identify yourself with the attainment. Don't identify yourself as rich. You can be rich, but you are not richness, because richness will leave you one day. But if I can be rich, I can be rich. But if this richness one day leaves, well, then it left. But I am still me. That's the difference. I can be a successful person, but I am not success, because if you are success, you're gonna lose it. And so this is it's just a small mental switch, I would say, that makes the difference. It is absolutely irrelevant, and it's 100% compatible if somebody decides he wants to have and live a very expressive way of life nowadays in the 21st century. That is the freedom that you have right now. That is the purpose why we all are able to live a life, to find a way. How do you want to express yourself in this world? And in the best case, what type of spirit, what type of expression can you contribute to that zeitgeist, to that conscious spirit at the moment? Not all the 8 billion people right now on the world need to have the same spirit. But the more people are there that are causing chaos, the more spirit of structure and stability and order must also exist in the same time frame. We don't have to be everybody the same, but because there are people that are based upon injustice, we need to be people that are righteous. And the question for every single one is simply, what type of contribution are you willing to give to that spirit? It starts with your abilities. It starts, be responsible for yourself. Be kind to yourself. Feel yourself the thankfulness about this life, the thankfulness towards your parents. You need to feel it first. And when you feel it, then you can make other people around you feel it. Because you know what type of feeling it is that you want to transmit to them. And this is what life is about. It's the transmission of feeling. And this feeling is separated from the way how things look on the outside. Somebody can ride the bicycle and he has that feeling. Somebody can lay on the beach and he has that feeling. Somebody can practice the martial arts and he has the feeling. Somebody can just film his video and make his footage and he has this feeling. It's not on the outside how it looks that what is important, what is the value of all of this. It is the feeling which is underlying all of this. And that's the only thing that amongst 8 billion people, what would be able to have in common. A feeling, never the way how we live our life.
Only 13% of you have got the notification bell pressed. Hit that button. I have about 5 new projects coming out and I want you guys to see it. The subscribers aren't getting to see it at the moment, so I want to hit that notification bell. Go do it right now, guys. No, you don't have to really, but if you can, hit the notification bell.
Have this inspiration in the mind, and then they start to manifest because they know that mind is so powerful. I am capable of doing it. So they use the power of the mind to manifest something and either benefit themselves or maybe benefit others. But it is the same powerful mind, which for other people then at the same time is creating the fear. But instead of understanding, yeah, but it's the mind, I just need to switch it over and make it useful for me. No, they stay inside the fear becomes more, the powerful fear becomes even stronger, and then it becomes so strong, the fear, that it even blocks people in doing anything. But the fear, it's a construct of the mind in the first place. You fear that you get a car is going to hit you tomorrow. Yeah, hello, we are not tomorrow. We are here right now. Why you think about tomorrow the car could hit you? Who says it's going to happen? And where is the evidence it's going to happen? Where's the evidence it's not going to happen? You don't know. Stop thinking about tomorrow. The music is playing here right now. But this fear of the future, this anxiety of what if. Yeah, what if and what if not? Both of them are there. But the problem with the fear is very strong. Fear is just nothing to let your life be determined by. Yeah, but then you ask yourself, but why? Because there is something else which is hindering him at the moment. And oftentimes this can be fear. Fear is number one. Fear of existence for some people. Fear of losing is the other thing. Fear is like the main runner. How do we deal with fear, for example? It's just like this. Fighting is not fun. Fighting against somebody else who also is trained, and then even if you have like gloves on, doesn't matter, is quite painful sometimes. And also, very honestly, I don't like even to fight. It's not that I like it, but I feel the challenge about it. I feel how much I need to like jump over myself now to go out there and just, even if it's just training. So that means for a martial artist normally, it becomes like a different perspective when it comes to fear. Because it's all the time when you walk out there that you're dealing with fear. Fear of what if I lose, what if like he hit me, what if I get hurt, yeah, what if I don't stand up anymore. So many fears is it that you are dealing with, but ultimately you conquer them. The outlook on the rest of the life looks different. It changes something inside of you. It changes the perspective, how you are looking at things, where you see other people, they are living in fear, but fear of nothing. Fear of something they have created with the mind. People have this inspiration in the mind, and then they start to manifest because they know that mind is so powerful. I am capable of doing it. So they use the power of the mind to manifest something and either benefit themselves or maybe benefit others. But it is the same powerful mind, which for other people then at the same time is creating the fear. But instead of understanding, yeah, but it's the mind, I just need to switch it over and make it useful for me. No, they stay inside the fear becomes more, the powerful fear becomes even stronger, and then it becomes so strong, the fear, that it even blocks people in doing anything. Why you think about tomorrow the car could hit you? Who says it's going to happen? And where is the evidence it's going to happen? Where's the evidence it's not going to happen? You don't know. Stop thinking about tomorrow. The music is playing here right now. The fearful part is one day you look back and say, you have wasted your lifetime. This is the fearful part.
If you want to support us at mulliganbrothers.com, everybody who has been buying the journal ready for 2023, go follow us on social media at Mulligan Brothers. Have a blessed and productive day, and I'll see you in the next one.
No one is born as a superhero. You can only give out pain to another person when you yourself have received that pain before. If I start to do some type of training, no matter what it is. At a certain point, I am reaching my level where I either feel the exhaustion, or sometimes I'm also feeling the level of pain that I'm able to take. Now the question is, what are you going to do exactly at this borderline? I can only give the pain to others that I have received already. My bones can only be as hard as I have hit whatever was hard like that. And so that means take it as a challenge. Everything that hurts you, find a way to overcome it. Everything that you feel is difficult for you, find a way to still do it. As long as you can do the things, stop listening to the mind. No pain, no gain. We are not superhuman. We are not perfect. But I know that every time I face something and I feel, okay, I'm not good enough at the moment, at least I know what needs to be done. And so for me, in a way, every time I face something, every time I'm being exposed to a new challenge, every time when I feel it's a challenge, it only tells me there again is a chance now to grow, let's say. Now, of course, some people might say, yeah, but what's the point of this growing? What do you mean by growing? Why would I always need to accept every challenge just for the sake of growing? Because this growing is the opposite of something is decreasing, something is dying, something is closing up. Grow, open up is the same as to bring light into the things. It doesn't matter what challenges it is that you are facing there. It is the fundamental principle behind it that you do not run away, that you are open for everything that is being thrown at you. It is this type of mindset to also understand, I didn't ask for an easy life. I take what comes. If it leaves, I let it pass. A mindset that I think is paying off later, big times, is when you're starting to incorporate into your daily life, into the daily perspective and understanding that this world has not been created for you to only enjoy the peaceful aspects about it, regardless of where you are born, with which, let's say, prerequisites you have been born into this world. Everyone is going to face challenges. These are different challenges, but you are going to face them, because living this life is ultimately connected with challenges. The question is, how are you now going to deal with it? What can you do knowing that you're gonna walk this lifetime and you will have challenges, mental challenges, physical challenges? And there I can only come up with an answer. Prepare yourself. Prepare and condition the mind in such a way that you are first of all not starting to run away. There are two things in that, let's say, warrior mindset, if you call it like this, to be avoided. Number one is to run away, because running away means that whatever just came into your life, you can't learn from it anymore, because there is again distance between that new situation and yourself. And at the same time, there is no connection, meaning you can't have an influence on it. So therefore, number one, face it. Number one, face it. And number two now, and this is also a quite difficult part, no one is born as a superhero, and nobody is naturally born as being a strong and confident personality. These are things that from time to time, from situation to situation, start to emerge from inside of you, because it's growing inside of you based on how you are behaving towards yourself. And now after finding yourself in a situation that is challenging to you, it also takes a different type of mindset to also be able to say that I'm not well prepared enough. I'm not good enough at the moment to take that challenge. And afterwards, prepare. So that means, number one, don't run away. And number two, be honest to yourself. Those two things, if you keep them in mind and then just put time, effort into practice, I think is the key to step by step build something up about yourself, about your life, about your character and personality that will give you some strong fundament in order to tackle everything that this world is going to throw at you. The two things to keep in mind is you do not look away when challenges come. And number two is you don't blame yourself if at that moment in time you are not able to face it. The only thing you're going to do is you step back, you take time for yourself, you invest the work and prepare yourself to return. Once you really commit and also commit to a certain type of practice, that means you need to bring out that discipline. It is that discipline that is fueling up this drive, because we know that it's not easy, but no pain, no gain. When I'm lying in the bed and the alarm goes on, for example, if I'm trying to convince myself, oh, come, just 5 more minutes, that's a bad idea. Yeah, so that's why I really got used to it. Rings, and then it's really like, in a way, I try to get out of bed as quick as possible. Then it's done. But in the moment where I start to get comfortable again, it becomes just more difficult. It's because that mind always wants to trick you and test you and challenge you if there's not something that he can still like readjust you. No, but discipline in a way really means it rings, wake up. Because that feeling of not wanting to wake up, that feeling of, yeah, but it's hard, I'm tired, whatever, it will pass after some time. And there is no other way than just learning to get over things like this. That's it. We all have it here. It's just that we also know there is a price if you don't do it, and there's a price if you do it. And it's just up to you to decide which of those two passes of development would you like to be in. At the same time now, like looking out at in the society, I also think that sometimes this strong mindset is also not existing anymore because of the lack of movement. There is that moment where the animal comes out. There is that moment where it's like your animal instinct comes out, which is producing suddenly more of this power. There is something which wants to push through it. In the different methods of what we are practicing here, there are also things to call out this type of instinct. But now, the MMA fighters, they have it. Everybody who practices this type of physical activity that at some point is related to a very high extent of energy, let's say, you have that moment where you need to push yourself to bring out that energy, to bring out that fire. But if your daily work, if your daily week is only sitting in front of your desk and doing, I don't know, office work, that fire doesn't come out. And if it comes out, it goes in the wrong direction. It goes in the direction of the head. It goes into the head because you're angry about something. But this fire of angriness and the fire of motivation are two different ones, because the fire of angriness is something you cannot in a way control. But the fire of motivation, the fire of trying to achieve something for a better version of yourself, is something that if you practice it long enough, you can recall it, because you have that fire inside of you. Strong mind goes together with strong body. I think there is a similarity with it, because you cannot reach to have a strong body if there is not the fuel behind it that gave you the push, the motivation to do so, in order that you finally develop in that direction. So, and a lot of different jobs that are existing nowadays, or let's say the lifestyle, that when hard times come, you just push through. If sometimes these decisions were first-time decisions, where you just had no experience before. But this is the whole point, why it's important to sometimes be faced with different challenges, with different problematic situations, for you to turn on the intelligence and find a solution. But if after the first time you're already giving up, then there's no outcome. Then there's nothing that you have learned. The only thing that you're remaining right now is regret and sorrow, which is neither going to bring you forward nor anything else, because you have not understood the message yet why you ended up in that situation. You need to overcome it. Your next level of development comes in the moment where level 1 is solved. You found a solution for level 1. Now, challenge number 2, next level. As long as you don't find the key for level number 2, stay there many years, repeating over and over again until you see it. If everybody would have the ability to bring out the self-discipline, you don't need like disciplinary masters. Meaning you don't need a monastery also that takes care that you are keeping that external rules and the external structure. But like, for example, today, all the young guys that came, if they would already be so self-disciplined that they know exactly what they can do, what they cannot do, if they want to achieve something, that they just focus on that. If they knew all of these things, well, then they don't need this monastery anymore. But the point is that no human being, or a few, let's say, or very little, it's difficult sometimes if you are surrounded with different environments to always remind yourself back again. What is the state of being to keep on walking? And therefore, if it is not existing in the beginning coming from yourself, that's why we need sometimes external support. And the same goes for the question, if somebody finds himself in that place of darkness, either you find a way that you can find some light in there and then make it shine brighter from day to day. Once the cup is empty, now it can be filled up again. What is it that might be the key that you learn to let go of something? And this letting go is of course going to be uncomfortable. Why? Because it is something that no one normally in our school systems, you don't find the subject how to let go. You find the subject how to get more. And so that means in that moment when people are getting confronted the first time with this type of teachings, it's uncomfortable. And so someone is always confronted between here, then he's brought down. Then he gets methods how he will build himself up again. Then he gets smashed down again. And so it continues. Every time when we as humans feel something is lacking, the answer is just consume more. Which means just go out and look where are you going to find something that is going to fill up that gap, to fill up that hole that you are feeling. That is the approach that we have outside. But by observing this type of behavior, I think you can see that no matter how much you consume, no matter how much of these offerings you are taking, you never become full. It's always only a question of time until your new desire starts to arise. It always just fills that small gap, that small hole for a short moment. This feeling that suddenly something has hit really deep, has pecked the core. This is the essence of what we call the Zen teachings, the Chan teachings, where the Shaolin temple belongs into. These are the teaching methods, meaning getting out of the comfort zone is part of the process. If I realize somebody already starts to feel like very confident again, very bright, then I know, okay, it's time to shut him down again. So someone is always confronted between here, then he's brought down. Then he gets methods how he will build himself up again. Then he gets smashed down again. And so it continues. Last week you said I should do like this. So you told me to go in this direction. Today I'm asking you the same question, but you are telling me I should go in that direction. And I said, yes. 3 weeks after, Shifu, now you tell me 3 different things. This direction, that direction, and then once again, you're telling me in this direction. What type of teaching method is that? It is for you to figure out yourself after you have wandered between the different extremes that are existing. First, I push you in that direction. Then you walk. Then I tell you other direction. Then you walk there. Then maybe we change again. Then you walk back there. Until you realize it's not here and it's not here. It's all of that. That's possible. Discovering what type of a person you are, what type of character you are. And just to reset yourself for whatever is going to come afterwards. And ultimately, what for? Why should a disciple go through all of this type of education? Because once the cup is empty, now it can be filled up again. Today we are famous, and today we are very proud of the Shaolin warrior monks. Why are we always keeping up that word warrior monks? Because they are expressing something. They are expressing something which, when you can feel it, you feel it's something very special to have nowadays. To not give up when the times are getting hard. It's not just the Shaolin who are living this type of spirit, but they also possess it. Because this is what makes the difference between someone that we call a warrior and maybe another person. Somebody that we call who succeeds and somebody you maybe call today a loser. The difference is both are going to come to the point where they are facing the challenge and when they are maybe facing also their defeat for the first time. The only difference is that the warrior keeps going. And somebody who does not have enough courage, who does not have enough discipline, who does not have willpower, maybe he just does not have the power anymore to keep on going and going and going after he failed so many times. But because of these failures, because there is something inside of you which feels that you don't want to fail the fourth and fifth and sixth time anymore, because of this, something else inside of you starts to become very, very strong. We can try in the beginning to remove ourselves a little bit from the wording, because I think everybody who hears the word warrior, he will already have something in the mind what he is considering a warrior to be. We can take any successful person nowadays. I don't think that this person reached his success or reached his position where he is at the moment without having some guiding principles in his lifetime. And one of them certainly is structure. I don't think he reached that point by just doing what he wants during the day. Maybe right now he's in the position that he can do what he wants, but how he got there is not by doing what he wanted. He put himself a structure, he put himself a guideline, and no matter how he felt during that day, this was the code, this was the mission, and this is what he kept. If you feel tired or not, if you are in the mood to do it or not, you had your structure and you kept it. Don't lose sight. Don't lose sight. Be open of what the future brings. On the one side, it's also very important to not have too much fixed goals in your own life. So that means don't make too concrete pictures in the mind of how the future should look like. But what all of life's purpose, all of the 24 hours day you do have, is that you can shape the direction of where those goals are going to appear. So it is the direction, in a way, that we are shaping. It starts really with the simple things. Even so that we're in the 21st century and the possibilities of doing and exploring this world are so huge, it doesn't mean that you should freely do what you want at all times. This is not the way of how in the monastery, in the Shaolin temple, we are regarding it as a healthy way of growing. To discover, to explore, to make something from your journey means you need to walk. We need to be active. But now the question is, when you look at your 24-hour day, how much of this 24-hour day is it active and how much of it is it like waiting, sitting and passively observing? Yes, so my name is Shi Heng. I am currently the headmaster here from the Shaolin Temple Europe. Father, he wanted me to start practicing with the age of 4, to just join a Shaolin school nearby here in Kaiserslautern, Germany, where I just start my practice. I stayed with whatever I started with and never really gave up on falling into different directions. There came some hard times where I really wanted to give up and didn't follow up anymore on the martial arts side. But my father, in that sense, he never gave me a choice to even consider of quitting something that I started so early in age. In the very beginning, also for me, I have to say that every time I watched the Shaolin movies and every time something about Shaolin came onto my mind, in the first place I was always limiting it in a way to the physical aspects and meaning to the physical abilities of these people, of these persons who were practicing the Shaolin arts. But now, after 34 years, how can I say, it is a very, very important aspect, the physical training. But there will come the time when you simply have to realize that it's impossible to keep up this physicality on the long run. No matter how much performance you can deliver at this very moment. But just due to the simple facts of we are getting old, we are having more restrictions inside our body, it's impossible to keep up that performance on the long term. So therefore, it becomes very, very relevant that there are other aspects about the human, about yourself, which is more sustainable and that you can keep up for a much, much longer time. I became better because I compared myself with others. I saw how others were doing their performance. I saw how skillful other people were. And that's why I look up to them in the beginning and try to ask myself, okay, they can do it. How can I try and get to that point as well? And so that means competition and that competitive mind in the very beginning was an important aspect of, how do I say, of challenging yourself and of also trying to get the best version out of you. But meanwhile, things just have shifted a little bit. And the purpose right now, why I'm training, why I'm still pushing myself, now it has shifted that I don't have the competitive mind in comparison to somebody else, but now it's really to myself only. And that means that it's endless in a way. It becomes endless, this path of how much you can grow, because you simply just take yourself as that one person that you try to improve. And at the same time, because now it's yourself that you are taking as this idol and as the best version comparison, this also means you have a much deeper insight into the person that you're comparing yourself with. Because before, you saw the physical abilities and you saw the skills of another person, but sometimes you didn't see their character. But now, because it is yourself that you are facing with, now you can dive much deeper into what you are actually made out of. Humans like stability, to be stable, to be balanced. That means, also now talking from the martial arts, when you start your training, no matter what type of system it is, the first things you normally learn in the martial arts is the proper way of standing, which means the proper way of aligning your body on the earth. Because we say, if you cannot stand firmly, no matter what type of techniques and applications you're trying to do afterwards, they can only be as good as your foundation is. And this foundation means for us stability of the body, stability of the legs. But now trying to translate this into the modern way of living a life, I mean, it's very, very similar. You can start off easily nowadays to try and become famous very quickly, try to build up a very high level lifestyle. But the question ultimately is, all these things, one day they will reach their peak and they will vanish again. And then the question remains, what is the foundation that is going to hold you up? Because sometimes living a fast way up also means it's going to be a fast way down. That's why very often we say, just look outside the tree. It does not happen in the whole universe that you are planting this tree on one day and 1 week after you have that that huge tree standing in front of you. It's just not happening in this world. When it comes to such a word like balance, it's not that you know from the mind that you do something about it. It is because you can feel that something needs to be done. It's like if you try one day, maybe when you have a child, and try to explain to him how to ride the bicycle. You can tell him, in order to ride the bicycle, you need to learn to be perfectly in balance. So the left side of your body and the right side, there must be 50-50 of weight distribution. Front side, back side, 50-50. It doesn't matter how long we are going to explain it to the child. You know that the child understood what balance is in the moment where he can ride the bicycle. Because then you know he just discovered something. Now he has it. And the same is like now for us. So that means now it's not the bicycle that we are riding. Now it is your life. It is your life. It is the things that right now are happening in your life. It is the amount of how many bad messages, let's say, are you receiving at the moment. Yeah? How is your sleep at the moment? How is your appetite at the moment? How is your general mood at the moment? All of this right now together, this is where you start to get a feeling for it. You feel this is my life. This is how my life feels at the moment. And when you now feel that something is not correct there, then you balance it out. And the easy way to just balance out, this is what we describe as there is an observation part and there's an active part. For many, many people, I think to start with those two levels of balancing would already be enough. That simply means maybe you are too active in some parts and maybe you're too passive in other parts. No matter in what you are investing it, every one of us has 24 hours that we can work with. Any other skill that you can develop in this world, any skill must be nourished over and over again. And this is why there is the saying, for example, the real skill, the Kung Fu, what we call Kung Fu, yeah, it's a skill attained by investing a lot of effort. And the only way in order to express this is by repetitive structure, repetitive movements. And therefore is the saying, perfection comes from repetition. Because this is also why somebody becomes so good in filming, making very nice video shots, very nice footage. Why? How come? I'm sure he very often had his camera in his hands. Somebody who is practicing or is in the martial art fields, his lifetime, his 24-hour day must be filled with martial art way of life. So in order to know in what is a person good in, you just need to look at the 24-hour day, at the 7 days a week, at every month, and at the last 2-3 years. And then you can very much tell already what type of skills a person, for example, can develop or has developed. If something appears in your lifetime that you like, you see something that you like, or you hear something that you like, so something comes there into your lifetime and you like it, then we say, don't pull. If something appears in your lifetime that you don't like, that means that you would normally reject, there we say, don't push. So I like it, that's why I want to keep it as good as I can, and I want to bring it even closer to me. Then what is going to happen is one day when the time comes, whatever you try to pull towards you, it's simply going to move even away from you. At the same time, something comes and you rejected it right from the beginning. It's just a question of time until whatever you push away from you starts to move very close to you. You just need to watch around you from the moment that we are born. From the moment that we are born, your amount of inhalation and exhalation is exactly 50-50. The amount of days and the amount of nights until right now, it's 50-50. Nothing stays the way how it is. Success never stays success, because success is based upon failure. A healthy person never will stay only healthy. He is healthy because sickness exists. A rich man never stays rich forever. He's only rich right now because poorness also exists. Maybe one day we're gonna ask ourselves, there must be another way of handling and walking through this lifetime without always being caught inside these up and downs of life. Yes, and this is how I would at the moment express what that whole expression and idea is about: harmony, about balance, about stability, about unity. No matter if you are going to be rich in this lifetime, you don't lose yourself. There is that one person in this lifetime. That person cannot be raised more than he is, and he cannot be lower more than he is, because he has always been stable. No matter how many compliments you give him, he will always remain stable. He won't raise up. No matter how much you insult him, you cannot insult him, because you cannot get him down, because he is always remaining in the stable state. He's unshakable. It's always worthwhile to strive for something that you regard as important for your life. Something that you have attained, you are going to lose. Attainment is there because you can lose it. But attainment also means it's not you. You are the one who can attain things. That's why don't identify yourself with the attainment. Don't identify yourself as rich. You can be rich, but you are not richness, because richness will leave you one day. But if I can be rich, I can be rich. But if this richness one day leaves, well, then it left. But I am still me. That's the difference. I can be a successful person, but I am not success. Because if you are success, you're gonna lose it. Yeah? And so this is it's just a small mental switch, I would say, that makes the difference. How do you want to express yourself in this world? When you set yourself a mission to have the vitality, to have the power, to have the mindset, to have the determination, yeah, to have the willpower, just as we know them from the Shaolin warrior monks today. And it's not just in our tradition where I am coming from right now. These were the idols that I grew up with. But maybe if you would talk to another person which maybe has his descendants coming from Japan, maybe he would take the Japanese samurai as an example of the warrior codex. Maybe you go to the United States, I don't know, maybe over there you can take the Navy SEALs as an elite special force, which is also expressing a very powerful mindset in many different ways. So different cultural traditions had different idols, different type of powerful spirits that you can look up to. And from where I come from, these were the warrior monks. Hardship is never easy. When it comes to the pure practice of the martial arts, so the Kung Fu training, there is an expression which is sometimes called, if you make this education to a Shaolin master, to a Kung Fu master, you are normally walking through the valley of pain. Yeah? This is how it's expressed. Because it involves a lot of physical conditioning, a lot of physical challenges that you need to cross. That means it happens in the stretching, it happens when you are just building up your stamina, it happens when your body starts to grow, it happens in every single aspect that you need to challenge your body, and you need to challenge especially the mind. So this is the one side of it. But by far more difficult is really to decide how committed are you to really do something about your life.
Thank you to everybody at mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now get the hoodies, the t-shirts, and the Inspire Change hoodies dropping very soon
Repetition
as well.
is your friend, not huge jumping. It is the repetition of things that starts to embody something inside of you. So instead of making huge plans with huge steps, better think about how to structure your 24 hours and put a little bit of what you want to develop there inside that day. Because instead of huge steps, what we are using as a method is continuity. That one is your friend. Repetition is your friend. If you have a goal and if you know what type of skills, which tools you are going to need to make this goal become true, I do think you need to figure out how you're going to get to those skills, first of all, and then make a plan and invest in them. And at least in the Kung Fu training, it is like this, that we say some skills, they come after years of training. You might feel the benefit of a certain skill already pretty soon. But ultimately, it's repetition. Of course, you can have self-affirmations and use this as a method to push yourself because you want to achieve something. But from time to time, it's really necessary to test yourself. You talk to yourself, you give positive feedback to yourself, you give affirmations to yourself. You can create an image about yourself. And then from time to time, you need to make the test if what you imagine to be is who you are. That is the important step. Because if you do not do the testing, then it's pretty easy that sometimes you're going to get lost in the world of your thoughts that sometimes have nothing anymore to do with how life for you really is. You live in a dream world. You live in a fantasy world. This can happen very quickly if you are using too much of these type of methods. Music, self-affirmation, visualization, all of these things. If you do not test, if you test, you can use everything. Because from time to time, that test is just gonna show you, and that's where you really are. And then you readjust. But if you have all of these methods which pump you up, but you never do the testing, then I would say be careful about that one. So I think there is something which lies in our hands, and there is something which sometimes is not dependent from whatever we are doing. But in the moment where your actions are in harmony with, let's say, some energies, some possibilities that at that point in time are anyway apparent there, something can happen. Before you know in which direction to sail, first of all, you need to know where you're located. Because the journey is not for everyone the same. Ultimate plan, which direction to travel, is something everyone personally must do. But therefore, in order for you to know, to now start and making up the plan where the journey is going to go, number one, we figure out what is our current state. I do think that if you are looking at the world already with predetermined concepts, looking at the world already with some type of expectation, then it's going to be very difficult to really see how the things are. That many emotional states, many thoughts that are coming, they come and they go. None of them lasts. If you think this world is about you, think again. Maybe you misunderstood something. If you can't handle the little things, you will not be able to handle the big things. That's just how it is. So that means the small things matter. The more your willingness and your ability to let go, the more changes are gonna come. It's just like this. For new things to come, old things must go. And now, just as I mentioned, there is the willingness, first of all, to let go. And then there is your skill level, your abilities. Can you, even if you want? And there it is now also good to know. By practicing certain methods, many of them that I told you already, many of them that are also available. By using them, there is a certain degree that you can already help or support yourself in letting go, learning what does it mean to let go? But sometimes there are also things that are caught within us that you just cannot reach by yourself. And this is the moment where sometimes you need support, where sometimes even if the willingness is there and you even maybe can see what it is that is stuck inside of you, but sometimes you need a person, more persons, or sometimes you need an additional support to get rid of it. So this is also important really to understand. I think one of the main hindrances, I would call it like this, what is hindering someone to get answers or to get to the methods? I think it is the lack of time that you are spending in investigating yourself. Yeah, meaning too many things nowadays are outsourced. You are outsourcing maybe your happiness to outside circumstances. You are outsourcing your health to outside circumstances. Yeah, so you are outsourcing a lot of things where we think, yeah, but they should belong into your hands. I cannot imagine somebody, this powerful nature, this force of the universe is putting you as a human being on this earth incomplete, meaning incomplete to deal with the challenges that this world is going to offend you with. So what I'm talking about is, for example, the immune system. I think when you have the right methods to improve, to boost up your immune system, you can face a lot of different sicknesses by yourself. Doesn't mean that you should only rely on this, but it's already a big part that can help you. A great power lies in the ability. When you spend more time with yourself, you will realize that a lot of medicine, a lot of high technology is already embedded inside of your body, inside of yourself. Yeah, but it is like a trend anyway, that many things are outwards oriented, but which is very normal. This is what we say. In the morning when you wake up, it is something very, very natural that's happening, that you open up the eyes, you get out of the bed, and so then it starts to be normal that you are interested in what's going on out there. Which means you look at the mobile phone, you look at the television, you look outside, you listen to things that are around you. That means awareness is naturally driven outwards of you in the moment where we wake up. So it's natural. This is the natural state. Like I said, if you don't pay attention, it's getting out of you. Therefore, what is it that the first step I would suggest somebody is doing, and what is also lacking nowadays is the time that you realize this. To just realize one part of human existence is it that our awareness is naturally being driven outwards. So in order to create the balance, what we do with all the different types of methods is to regulate this, to regulate and keep an eye on the amount of time and on the amount of awareness that we are allowing ourselves to get lost out there. So that means, first of all, it's important that you see it on yourself first, which means you don't turn the view out there and look out. The first thing to do is you turn around and see yourself, because then in the moment where you are doing this, you are going to see yourself. And this is the beginning, where once you spend time with yourself, the insight comes. Yeah, because all the time we are interested in seeing what is everything existing out there. Yeah. And it is one approach. This approach is that things are becoming, even the traveling, the journey becomes quite long and quite big the more far we go out. So it's like, first I stay inside my monastery. When I go out, I'm going to be inside this village. I go out, I'm going to be inside Germany. I go out, then I'm in Europe. I go out, then I'm on the earth, on all different continents. Then I go more out, then I'm in the solar system already. Then I go more out, then I'm in the Milky Way. Then I go more out, then you are in many different galaxies. Then you go more out. It's getting always bigger and bigger and bigger. This is also an interesting way of spending your life, yeah. But there is one thing which not everybody is able to afford this type of traveling. Yeah, maybe Elon Musk, he is, yeah. But not everybody has this technological and also financial capabilities to make this type of journey. But now the interesting part is that in the Asian culture, we are saying the so-called macrocosmos, that the world is always getting bigger on the one side, is actually like a mirror to the so-called microcosmos. And microcosmos means it is now not the journey where you travel outwards, it is the journey where you are traveling inwards. And instead of things becoming more big, you watch inwards, things becoming more fine, you become more refined. So first of all, you realize, okay, I have the body, then you watch in. Oh, I have the skeleton, I have the muscles, I have the fascia, I have the organs, I have all the blood vessels, I have the energy systems. And you get more deep and more deep. And there you realize also different things inside of you. You go down, maybe you meet some atoms. Inside the atoms you have the proton, the neutron, the electron. You go even smaller, then you maybe have the quantums and the quarks. I don't know. The funny part is, on the one side it always gets smaller, on the other side it always gets bigger. But those two things still have something in common, which is, just as an example, cyclic movement seems to play a very important role. Doesn't matter in which world you are now. When you are in the outside world, yeah, our Earth is turning, yeah, we are turning around the sun, the solar system is turning, our clock is turning, a lot of things are turning, yeah, and you go down, our respiratory system is connected in a circle, let's say, the inhalation, the exhalation. Our heart, how the heart is pumping the blood, let's say, through our body, is also a circular system. And the digestive system, the way how we exchange energy with our surrounding, get it to us, yeah, it's happening in cyclic movement. The atoms are moving in cyclic movements. So there is something in both of these areas that remains the same. And this is one type of where I say to investigate and understand the rules on which you play the chess, or on which this life is based upon. Because then things become a little bit more helpful. Because once you know that there is this cyclic movement always and always, then at the same time you also know, if you do not want to waste energy, you try to reduce, for example, the amount of linear behavior, linear movement that you are doing in this lifetime. Meaning you investigate something that ultimately anyway comes to a hard stop. But what does this hard stop mean? It means that all the energy that you have invested on one point is just going to vanish. Yeah, but this is kind of pointless. So what is it that you can then do? Transform. That's why we call it transformation is something really important. Because transformation only means it maybe doesn't look like the initial investment of your energy. It is because this energy is able to take different forms and different shapes. But it's still the same investment from your lifetime that you gave into this life. Right now we have 8 billion people in this world. Everybody has his own ideas and his own expectations, maybe, how he sees himself and what he would like to do with himself during this lifetime. So that means we have 8 billion different ideas. And one misconception maybe, or just something to meditate about, to contemplate about is, why would this world, why would this life, or even this universe, now I express it a little bit in a negative way maybe, but why should this life care about an individual's expectation about life? And now we're not just having one, we're having 8 billion individual expectations about life. But for me, in my mind, it's just like, we are talking right now about the creator of everything. The creator of the universe, the creator of the planets, of the humans, of the animals, of the plants, of all possibilities in this world. We are talking about this type of force in comparison to the expectation of an individual human. I'm not sure who is in the more powerful position at the moment. I mean, I am sure. The thing is just, I don't think that this type of force is existing in this world in order to fulfill that individual person's expectation about life. I think it's the other way around. I think that you have been put here on this world as a small individual in order now to be open, in order to receive what that force has to offer you in this lifetime. Which means you are walking through this lifetime without an own idea, more or less, what to do with your life. You are open to receive what this life in a way has to offer you. And how do you know that you are getting these messages, or how do you know that you are on this path that I'm trying to at least present it a little bit graspable to you? Just imagine you are working on a project, no matter what type of project that is. You invest a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of energy into this project. But no matter how hard you try, you are not succeeding somehow. Even though you watch around, other people make similar projects, but they invest way less energy than you do, but they are succeeding. Or you're already together the third or fourth time together with a partner. The first 3 times you broke up because you realized there is something which apparently is not fitting, but because of your hope, you go the 4th time into this relationship, but again you're just about to feel that something is not resonating there. And no matter how much you try, it is hard for you to make it work. And often in such situations, then you might ask, I'm working so hard, why am I not deserving finally the success of my work? Or when it comes to the partnership, why don't I deserve to have this partner, this woman, or this man in my life? This is the one way how you could ask. Or you turn around and ask it in a different way. Maybe this universe doesn't want you to succeed in exactly this project. The universe wants you to succeed, but not in that project. You have disciplined your mind. You have taken your own responsibility into your hands, that the life quality, the way how you are perceiving this lifetime, it's up to you. It's up to your practice. It's not to wait until the outside circumstances and your government and this world is going to create your dream world. It's not going to happen. It's about how can you contribute? How can you as an individual contribute to bring out this world that you imagine how it should be? And this is how I see, for example, why I'm doing this type of work. I am trying to share out what I think is missing. And this is just for my part. I think this is missing. I want to see it more in the world, in my dream world. That's why I contribute to make this dream world now start to manifest a little bit. Yeah. And this is how I think, at least for me, is quite a fulfilling way, because I don't wake up and have the feeling I'm wasting my lifetime. Because this probably would be like one thing. Sometimes I think when I look into the future, one of the worst things that could ever happen is that you one time just wake up, are old already, look back at your lifetime, and then you start regretting that you didn't do something with your life. This is really something that I don't want to be in. That's why right now I'm already very careful in what do I invest my lifetime. If it's not important to me, then I don't do it. If I think it is something that gives me additional value, then I do it. Everyone has the possibility to unlock something very, very special about him or herself. And it's up to your actions. Ultimately, it's you yourself who also is able to unlock it. Sometimes you need the key to unlock it. It's not that you cannot do it. The problem is only you don't know how. You don't know where to start. You don't know where to look. And this is why sometimes in this lifetime you are meeting someone that we call a teacher that we sometimes call a master. It was you who put the effort into doing the training, doing the research, doing the work. Ultimately, it was you, but it was him or her that gave you that spark, that gave you that key, that you eventually started doing it. And this is why sometimes you need these people, because they hold the key for you to enter into the next door. They are the gate holders, the gatekeepers. And why is it that we then start to follow that master? Because he has the key to be able and take that decision. Are you going to go for it or not? But being asleep all the time is difficult. Yeah, and that is the reason you don't want to sleep right now. You want to be awake. You want to be awake, and you want to be clear. Being awake and clear. Now your life is in your hands. Being numb, being under drugs. Be awake and be clear, and then fill up your energy tank. How can someone now who finds himself in this type of darkness, so what can he do? And there I can really only say there are a lot of different methods out there, and every door needs one certain key. Sometimes the Shaolin methods are not always the proper ones to just be offered to anyone. Sometimes it just doesn't fit. So if I right now just replace that word darkness with the term that something is closed, the possibilities are closed because there's nothing to see. You don't know what to do. So what are we doing in the different methods now in the Shaolin Temple? Number one step is open the body, or open the human. Open the human not only in terms of physically opening, meaning stretch open the muscles, stretch open the tendons, stretch open the ligaments, open really the body, open the lungs that more oxygen can come in. But also means open the mind. Open the mind meaning to realize whenever you are in a way limiting your views, for example, limiting your own perspective. And by regularly practicing, every day we have exercises to open the body. Every day we take care that we are opening and stay with the open mind. This openness after time is something that we are then starting to incorporate into our being, into our daily life. And this is what opens then the doors again. The more open you become, the more you will see once again the possibilities that are out there. Practically speaking, what should you do? Increase the level of activity. If somebody finds himself in a too dark place, increase the amount of activity, which means spend a lot of time outside while the sun is shining where there are a lot of people. The opposite is you're in a dark place and you stay at home in your four walls. For some time, it's sometimes necessary, but this is not going to be the solution. If you by yourself cannot create that light, then we have to somehow try that the circumstances on the outside help you, support you a little bit along this way. I think the human is able to develop and learn so many different things when the willingness is there. When you are willing to learn, you are willing to learn, and afterwards you put that willingness into a form. Willingness into a form means you make a plan, a simple daily plan. Tomorrow I'm dedicating 5 minutes to practice it. The day after, another 5 minutes. After that week, 10 minutes every day. And this you keep no matter what, no excuse. Everyone is old enough to make a plan where you can put 5 minutes into your daily schedule that is just unchanged for the next month. I don't see a problem with this. But sometimes we're too compulsive. Sometimes you do have a plan, but then somebody calls you. You receive a message, something comes in between, and suddenly the plan is gone. If you have this type of commitment, why would you even call it commitment? The human mind is not made to stay at one place at one time. The commitment knows it. That's why we give it. This is why we say, okay, I commit to it. Because I know that hard times will come, that I will find excuses why not to make it, that I will have days I'm not in the mood to practice it. I know these times are going to come, but this is why you do the commitment. There is a history in all of us which cannot be changed, which means where we come from, what type of genes has been given to us. Yes. But at the same time, I also think that everyone in this world is absolutely free to express themselves in whatever way they feel like. It's just the fact that I can also see that some virtues, not even virtues that are being represented from the Shaolin Temple, but general virtues within the society are starting to too much become mixed up and starting also to like disappear. And therefore, I think it was a really good question to sometimes pay attention to the fact that what has been given to you sometimes needs some care. When it becomes your habit, automatically a different quality starts to emanate from you. Increase this type of quality, and I think this is what you should do. You don't jump around too much. You are not undecided. Before you talk, you think. Before you talk, you think. You don't just let it flow out. But once it is said, it's backed up with action. If this pattern is continuously repeating, what is the way out? It's not by adding something on top of it. Because it seems like it's always about adding something more. You are learning something because you think you are missing it. You are going to another country because you think you are missing that experience. You are trying out another type of food because you think you are missing that taste. So that means the general idea, which is at the moment existing, is every time when we as humans feel something is lacking, the answer is just consume more. This is not about giving, it's about taking. It's about taking away everything that is in front of a person's eye that has covered up the clear view upon how this world, how your internal nature, how your emotions, your mindset is all connected with each other. The reason why I talk, which seems like I'm giving out something. No, I'm not giving out. I'm just saying something in order for you yourself to let something fall, to realize for yourself that there was something in the mind, there was a concept, a belief system, a way of thinking inside of you all the time already, that maybe now you realize that one has no fundament anymore. Actually, it is blocking me more than it actually does help me. You think that because we are so well connected everywhere in the world, you can access quite a lot of information just by going on Google or on YouTube. Of course, it feels like that you are independent because you have access to the whole world just by sitting at home. Yes, this is a trend. This is a development which is going on now for quite some time and will still go on in the future until it will shift. And you will realize how much of a fantasy and how much of an illusion it is to think that you can live a life, or that living a life means that you are sitting at the chair looking at the whole world and being connected with the world through the screen. This is not living a life. This is you are living an illusion in this life. To live a life is you look at your hands, you look at your body, and you go out of the house. You do the steps. You do what makes your body sweat. You breathe in the air. You have physical contact with people. You talk face to face with people. This is living life. The other thing is sad. So the result of if something is too dark is it's very difficult to actually distinguish anything. What are your possibilities in the darkness? Because you don't see any direction. You don't see objects in the darkness. So what therefore the approach is, what therefore I think must be done is, no matter which method you're using, You need to light up that space. So either you find a way to really light up that space so that in such a way that darkness slowly disappears and you slowly start to see what is in that room, what is in that space. That is the first possibility. Or the second one would be that you are developing yourself and are equipping yourself with some type of skills that gives you better abilities to see in the dark.
Traditionally, from the Buddhist teaching, it's called karma. It's a concept which sometimes is also related to the principle of cause and effect. Maybe I mentioned it in some of the videos before, but it's still very, very useful to understand it. It is just saying that nothing happens out more or less only by coincidence. Things start to happen because they are constellation or because something has lined up in just the proper way for it to now fulfill itself. And so we say, when you plant the apple seed, the chances are high that you can get an apple tree. And when you are planting an orange seed, you can also have the potential to get that orange tree. And now the question is, how good, when you watch out in this life and when you watch out at yourself, can you see all these things that needed to be lined up in order for you, let's say, to succeed in something particular? And so there it also comes to, it has also something to do maybe with strategy, or maybe with the ability to read the signs of this life. And the better, like in the chess game, the better you can read the signs, the better you understand how that game there works, the higher the possibilities are that this game is going to end in the way how you imagine this game to end, meaning that you're the winner. If you don't know how the rules of the games are, if you cannot read the other person, if you don't even know yourself good enough, I think you're going to make quite a lot of mistakes in that game. Many people nowadays maybe think also you need to live in the monastery, or maybe shave your head and be monk or live like a monk. Well, let's say like this, it helps. It helps because all of this only means that for some period in your life, you don't care, let's say, what style you have. You're not interested to have a relationship at those moments. So at the end, it's really just about that you have some dedicated time where you say, first of all, I invest in myself. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. But ultimately, everything that we try to share from the methods in this monastery, everybody should be able to use it. To live inside the monastery, this has never been and will never be something for the mainstream. Yeah, only crazy ones like me do this. There's for everyone. There's something. So that's the point. And this is why it also makes sense then to why at all I think there are methods that can be shared to the public. Some things it's not interesting for them because nobody would really have the time to practice these things. But other things, it's good and important to know. And somewhere there we need to find the balance for what to share out and what remains inside the temple walls. Yeah, and now, for example, when I talk about the retreat and getting away for some time from this outside world, yeah, what does it mean? It really means you go, in our case, you're inside this monastery. You are not leaving this monastery. You are not spending too much time, let's say, on the smartphone or on the internet, or even you don't watch any movies or any television or any shows. So you are very careful about where are you spending your time actually in those 24 hours day that you have. Yeah. Let's say in winter time you sleep 8 hours, 9 hours, okay? Still afterwards you have 15 hours. What are you doing with those 15 hours? So normally the daily schedule is really like this, that at around 6 in the morning, normally my disciples and the novices, they already start to stand up, because 6 o'clock until 7 is the time where first of all the animals in this monastery need to be taken care of. Meaning the food for the horses, the food for the dogs, the food for the cats. This is what's happening between 6 and 7. Other ones are preparing the breakfast at that time, because 7 o'clock then is breakfast, and then starting from 8 o'clock until 11, this is like the first morning session for training. Summertime, wintertime, it's a little bit different, but at the moment we're starting normally with the meditation, so sitting meditation, very calm, warming up the body just gently, but then afterwards it's just sitting calm and just breathing. This is how the day starts. And then comes like the physical training, like you saw it before, a little bit more active, and also depending on what is it that this student, for example, wants to develop at the moment. Yeah, so sometimes we have group training, but sometimes we also have individual training where you have to take care of yourself, where you want to proceed. And 11 until 1, so which is where we are at this moment, is normally the working time. Working time, which means emails need to be answered, then just the general work that needs to be done inside the household in terms of vacuuming the floor, cleaning the windows, washing the toilets, washing the clothes, going shopping. That takes place now in that 11 to 1 period, and 1 o'clock is lunchtime. After lunchtime we normally have a break until 3 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock until around 5 o'clock is again a training time. Training time, and 6 o'clock we have dinner, and then a short break, and 7 until 9 is again a next block where it's dedicated for practice. So there are actually 3 blocks of practices every day, and they can differ, because when I talk about practice, it's not just about physical practice. It can also mean it's something that you practice which is good for your mind. Sometimes you practice something which is good for the way how you are breathing. Sometimes you practice something which is then eventually good for your mood. Sometimes you practice something which is then really physically good for the way how you look. So practice for me is just that you are developing something on you, not just like physically speaking. So, and this is what the practice times are dedicated for. So that doesn't always mean that we go for running or just like doing push-ups or doing weight training or doing kicking and punching. This is one way of training. But like I said also, this complete way of thinking, and what is like really important also to share to the people outside there, because I don't think that the majority of people is interested in punching and kicking. No, it is about to just get access to more different methods that you can use in order to improve the way how this life feels to you. This is the main point of all of these practices. So it doesn't matter how your life look at the moment, but what we all have the same is you have a body, I have a body. And there are methods to keep the body healthy. You have a mind, I have a mind. And there are ways how to develop the mind in such a way that you don't make too many mistakes when it comes to taking decisions. Meaning, there are ways how to take decisions that afterwards you are not going to regret. That can, for example, means it's better to take decisions in a state of the mind that we would call it, it's a clear mind. It's not a mind which is like based upon emotion. Not a mind that was just angry a few seconds before. Yeah. So then people have different emotions, we have different emotions. Nevertheless, taking decisions out of emotion is not a good idea. Yeah. Everybody has organs, we have organs. Everybody has muscles, we have muscles. Yeah. And therefore this is what it's about. To go deeper into yourself and try to penetrate all the layers that are making you become who you are. And all these areas can be trained and should be trained. It's about the life quality of each individual. That's what is the important part. The life quality. It's not about the punching and it's not about the kicking. But life quality sometimes can also mean you just feel more stable, you just feel better, that when you go somewhere, you know that you are feeling strong, you are feeling ready, you feel that you are able to protect the ones that you like. So that means that you are feeling strong, that you feel solid, that you feel prepared. This can also have a significant influence in the way of your life quality, in the way of how you are like walking through this lifetime. Be stable. And these are simple things right now, why all the disciples, all the students that I have here, why I want them to also learn about the martial arts. Because this is what it's about. You want to develop your body in such a way that you feel strong, that you feel vital. But not just that you feel like this, it's also important that you really are strong and vital in comparison to yourself if you would not do the training. That's important. So all this martial art training, it is about, in ancient times, it was about preparing and forging your body in such a way that you become a weapon, or that your limbs, your body becomes suitable to use it as a weapon. It doesn't mean you have to do it. It just means you need to forge it like this, first of all. This is why still nowadays, 1,500 years, even after the original founding of the tradition in China, we are still keeping up exactly these training methods. Because to express physical strength absolutely has an impact upon how strong your mind is. It's not the only one, but it certainly is like related. It's called, in the past, it's called warrior monk. Yeah, so normally when we translate it, it's called warrior monk. So if you take it literally, or if you read it in this way, it means number one is there is a warrior. Okay, that's it. First of all, there is a warrior. So now whatever that warrior means to you, number one, there is the warrior, and then there's the monk. So it's a warrior who lives as a monk, which means he has the capacity, he has the potential of bringing out the warrior, but he doesn't do it. Why not? Because martial arts, the practice of the wushu, or being a warrior, very often warrior, yes, also including the word war. We don't want war. It's not what we want. Because in this war, people get hurt. In this war, you have even more suffering, yes. So the warrior normally is, sometimes we can call it, it's the dark side of you. It is the dark side of a person. The only difference why it's called warrior and it's not called, let's say, a demon is because sometimes demons are controlling you. A warrior is different. It's the same type of power. It's the same type of force, but you are in control of it. So you have disciplined the dark side of yourself. This is the warrior part. And that means, but because you know that when you bring this out, it can cause a lot of suffering. It can cause a lot of harm also if you use it in the wrong way. That's why it's not our aim to bring out that warrior at all times. But you need to be able to at least have that spark inside of you, that when somebody starts to hurt people in your surrounding, in your family, you need to have this fire and bring out then the warrior. Yeah. This is how I would express it. And it's better that you control this type of energy than you have no control over this energy. You know? But every human has it. If you are provoking a person just long enough, it's gonna come out. And what comes out there, now the question is, who is controlling it? And some are called controlled by demons, and other ones control themselves. But the force is the same. It's very powerful.
Thank you so much to Master Shi Heng. Today's video was sponsored by mulliganbrothers.com, the best motivational clothing brand in the world, where you can now get the Rise and Grind series, the Hardest Worker in the Room series, and the Inspire Change series. And if you are lucky, there are also some books available on the website. All that support goes back into making these projects possible, and hopefully we'll make a future project possible with Master Shi Heng. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, it's called warrior monk. Yeah, so normally when we translate it, it's called warrior monk. So if you take it literally, or if you read it in this way, it means number one is there is a warrior. Okay, that's it. First of all, there is a warrior. So now whatever that warrior means to you, number one, there is the warrior, and then there's the monk. So it's a warrior who lives as a monk, which means he has the capacity, he has the potential of bringing out the warrior, but he doesn't do it. Why not? Because martial arts, the practice of the wushu, or being a warrior, very often warrior, yes, also including the word war. We don't want war. It's not what we want. Because in this war, people get hurt. In this war, you have even more suffering. Yes. So the warrior normally is, sometimes we can call it, it's the dark side of you. It is the dark side of a person. The only difference why it's called warrior and it's not called, let's say, a demon is because sometimes demons are controlling you. A warrior is different. It's the same type of power. It's the same type of force, but you are in control of it. So you have disciplined the dark side of yourself. This is the warrior part. And that means, but because you know that when you bring this out, it can cause a lot of suffering. It can cause a lot of harm also if you use it in the wrong way. That's why it's not our aim to bring out that warrior at all times. But you need to be able to at least have that spark inside of you, that when somebody starts to hurt people in your surrounding, in your family, you need to have this fire and bring out then the warrior. Yeah. This is how I would express it. And it's better that you control this type of energy than you have no control over this energy. Yeah. But every human has it. If you are provoking a person just long enough, it's gonna come out. And what comes out there, now the question is, who is controlling it? And yeah, some are called controlled by demons, and other ones control themselves. But the force is the same. It's very powerful. In the core, maybe there is the warrior, but the way how he behaves, it's the monk. On average daily life, he's peaceful, but only because he decides to be peaceful. But he is still able to tap into the other area. That is the difference. And so sometimes, and yeah, one of my masters that I appreciate very much, he really said it straight out like this. If somebody starts to attack your family, you need to be able to protect your family. And this type of power, you just don't have it if you don't cultivate it.
That type of spirit to not give up when the times are getting hard. It's not just the Shaolin who are living this type of spirit, but they also possess it. Because this is what makes the difference between someone that we call a warrior and maybe another person, somebody that we call who succeeds and somebody you maybe call today a loser. The difference is both are going to come to the point where they are facing the challenge and when they are maybe facing also their defeat for the first time. The only difference is that the warrior keeps going. Yeah? And somebody who does not have enough courage, who does not have enough discipline, who does not have willpower, maybe he just does not have the power anymore to keep on going and going and going after he failed so many times. But because of these failures, because there is something inside of you which feels that you don't want to fail the fourth and fifth and sixth time anymore, because of this, something else inside of you starts to become very, very strong. and once again, and then you only need to keep repeating and going. Repeating and going. Don't lose sight. Don't lose sight.
It is giving you confidence. It is giving you some ease to just know that yes, sometimes you go out into this crazy world. You can't control other people. You can control yourself, yes. And exactly because of this, you don't know who you are going to meet out there. Not everybody is peaceful to you. So it is just giving you an easy mind to at least know if comes up any situation where you would need to just take care of the beloved ones around you, that you are able to do it. You don't have to do it. You are able to do it. This is what gives you that ease. This is what gives you the freedom to walk out there without having fear all the time. But if you have no abilities, if you have no skills, and then somebody just says, hey, look, don't go to this Otterberg. It's a very dangerous city. No, you would never come to this city here. Already just because of the fear. But this is not freedom. Freedom is you can conquer all of this. Why? Because you have the ability to do it. Because you have developed yourself to not let fear determine your life. And now this is not something that just comes from the Shaolin Temple. It's just our approach to it. But fear is just nothing to let your life be determined by. Yeah.
Thank you for watching Monk Mindset. If you enjoyed the video, please consider going to mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the new Inspire Change t-shirts, the LFG t-shirts, the Hardest Worker in the Room t-shirts.
If somebody finds himself in that place of darkness, light up that space. To grow, to open up is the same as to bring light into the things. Right now, you are not feeling well, you are suffering, you are not sleeping well, you are not in the mood to do anything. There is that type of restlessness of the mind. It's too dark. There are people that went through these type of situations but found a way to move on. What did they do? This is what matters to me. I think it's not going to happen if you have a person who during the lifetime is used to waste a lot of energy, waste a lot of lifetime. Even if you give him an afterlife, it's going to be the same. From where should this switch of mentality suddenly come? Waiting for better times to come, that you change something about you, is not going to happen. It's an illusion. You want to bring out something good, something, the better version about yourself. It's not going to happen in the next life. What you do right now, this is what you take to whatever going to come afterwards. There is something we need to learn, and that one is rain. R-A-I-N, rain. The R is standing for recognize. Whatever emotional state comes up, happiness, sadness, fear, depression, jealousy, rain. R, recognize. Recognize first of all, what type of feeling is it that's coming up. The A is standing for acknowledge or accept. If there is fear, if there is jealousy, if there is anger, if there is something and you realize it about yourself, number one is you accept it. You say, yes, okay, at this moment I feel really angry. Yeah, I feel really sad. I feel the fear which is coming up. So that acknowledgement, meaning you try to stop yourself from trying to separate it, because you can only adjust something if it is a part of you. Only if I have a connection to my emotion, to my state, only then I can change it. This is why that word A, that acknowledgement or that acceptance, is something which is like really important. Then the I is standing for investigation. Investigation means you recognize it, you accepted it, and now you investigate. Investigate can mean you ask the questions a detective would ask you. Why? Why is it coming up? Because of what did it come up? What did it trigger? Could it be that there is something in the past that now led to the fact that it's coming up inside of you? investigation about that field of emotion that came up there. And the last one now, the N, is normally standing in Buddhist terms for non-identification. So non-identification means if you think something, you are able to recognize it. That means if we go to the cinema and you watch an action movie, then you can see on the screen, you have on the screen the action images. Sometimes you go to the cinema, but on the screen you have a horror movie. So on the screen are running different images. But all these images are only possible to be seen because the background of the action movie and of the horror movie is the screen. If you take the screen away, it doesn't matter what image you are projecting, there is nothing that's able to project it. So that screen is the same like in the Chinese or in the Asian ways. We sometimes say the clouds, they are like the thoughts, but the thoughts, they can only appear, or the clouds can only appear because the underlying big is the sky. So there are the clouds within the sky. There are the images of the movie on the screen, and there are the emotions that come up on behalf of your perception that is existing. So that means what you have, what we all have, is we are able to perceive. And some people, based on something that is triggering them, sometimes they perceive the anger coming up. They perceive the sadness is coming up. So these emotional states, they can be perceived. If they can be perceived, then it means they are not you, because you are the one who sees them. And non-identification means that you can witness for yourself that these things are like clouds that sometimes pop up in the sky. And just like every cloud ever on this earth, neither of these clouds ever stayed. It's only sometimes a sequence, an episode within your lifetime. And this idea of non-identification is something that is relating into this direction. Yeah, meaning that you understand, that you see why this fear came up, with what it is related to, and ultimately also see that there is no substance to it. They see no other option. It's like a one-way street. And this is something that I think with the opening of possibilities, they need to be educated just in the same way. That's all what this is about. People need to know options. If nobody puts additional options in their minds, they cannot see it by themselves. And intention is what fuels life. Intention fuels life. You want to have quality life, and that automatically only means for me, you fill up every moment and everything that you do, you are the one who fills it up with quality. You don't wait for anything to happen to make something be out of quality. You are the one, we are the one who can fill up whatever we're doing with quality. Everywhere we try to put as much as we can. That reminder inside again. Be mindful. Know what you're doing. Put intention behind it. Don't do things empty. No matter what it is that reminder. It is up to your intention. It is your thoughts that is fueling the quality of life. And therefore, these are always just reminders. That's why we need to have structures, we need to have some method to reconnect us again, that remind us again. Remember, mindfulness is key, intention is key. Be mindful. Remember yourself again. There's a different key for each door. Figure out which one is the right key to open that one person. I think it's time to really give sense, to give purpose, and to give an understanding to the things that you're encountering in this lifetime. Mindfulness. That word is out in this world so often right now, but take your time and think about it. What does it actually refer to? How can you personally use that word? Mindfulness is not the absence of thoughts. You are not trying to get rid of the thoughts. Mindfulness means your mind is full. Mindful. It is full of something that you chose You individually chose. This is my purpose. This is my intention of why I'm doing something. You do your work, put some intention behind it. You are speaking to a person, be clear about your intention. Why are you speaking to the person? You are texting something, be clear about what is your intention. Why are you typing it? And stop doing stuff in this world that doesn't mean anything to you and that has no intention. Because the whole point about why do I need this intention? Because only intention mobilizes energy. And why do we need mobilized energy? Because only mobilized energy is creating something. What do I mean? If you continue doing stuff without intention, the result is going to be the same. You create nothing. Yeah, so it's like you never sent the messages because they were empty. And so this is the moment now where you practice from the moment you wake up in the morning. Don't do unnecessary things. Brushing the teeth is not unnecessary. There is a purpose behind it. There is an intention behind this. You want your teeth to be healthy. That is an intention. You drink the coffee. You would like that you wake up a little bit more and be a little bit more active. Why do you want to be a little bit more active? Because with that extra power, with that extra energy, you can work more efficiently. You can work more. You can work better. You can do more things the whole day long. And why would you want that? Because you want to help. You want to contribute to something bigger. There is a whole range of intention that each individual can put into his daily life. Yeah. I can't say what type of intention you're supposed to put in there. That is the special part. That it is not about what you do. It is about how you do the stuff, how you are writing the messages, how you are communicating with people, how you are walking through this lifetime. It doesn't matter what you do. It's the how.
Thank you to everybody at mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now get the hoodies, the t-shirts, and the Inspire Change hoodies dropping very soon as well. And all those profits from the website, including the posters and everything, go back into making this content. That is how we fly around the world and film these projects for you guys. So thank you so much to everybody and all your support. And if you haven't yet, hit that join button down below. I'll see you in the next one.
It's the Tian Ren Di, the heaven, man, earth. Heaven, man, earth, which means the human is between heaven and earth. He's like the middleman between heaven and earth. From the heaven, he sometimes receives something, but only he has it. And now, what is he doing? Because he's in the middle, he brings this idea, this vision, boom, onto the earth and manifests it. Makes it real, yeah, for people to touch it, to see it. That I could right now say, I discovered for me. And since that moment when I really integrated this into my way of living, into how I walk through this lifetime, things are just effortless. Because I have the feeling that it's completely in harmony. It's not that I say I feel enslaved by something and actually I don't want to do what I feel I should do. No, I feel that just by having these ideas, by having these visions, and then investing my lifetime to try and make these visions that come from somewhere, to make them become real in the moment where I feel that it's just about, yeah, it's like you make your dream come true. It's like a wrong movie, yeah? It's like you write your own movie. Like this it feels, and it is so effortless. And I strongly trust that this is something very, very special that everyone is able to tap into. That is the important part. That is the very, very important part. Yeah. And what is necessary, so in order to maybe understand a little bit more what I'm talking about, first of all, you need to spend time with yourself. How I sometimes feel inside. And it's one of the reasons why I meditate. One of the reasons why I sit down and I'm quiet. Because I need to listen sometimes. No matter how strange it sounds. Listen to what? Listen to what the next steps are. So what I'm saying is, if you invest a lot of your own effort, your own willpower, your own energy, your own work into something, but it's not your, sometimes we call it karma, or it's not your destiny, or it's not in harmony with someone's more powerful presence, that then it doesn't matter what you want. You're not going to succeed. But the greatest thing that can happen is you hear the message, you feel the message, you hear the call, and then you are taking now your lifetime, your 24-hour stay, and make this call take reality. Because what it then means is there is a plan, and you are here with your own hands capable of fulfilling that plan. Because when we talk about like this, what does a plan mean? What is an idea? What is a vision? First of all, it is something that every human, when he has it for himself. He has it inside of his mind. He has it in his imaginary world, let's say. But imaginary world means only one person knows about it, the one who has this vision. And therefore now, if you want to contribute something to this earth, to this world, I think the challenge is to bring something from this imaginary world that only one person has, to make it start and take form, that this idea starts to shape. Because only when it takes a form, only when it starts to shape, then it enters into the world where more people now can touch it, can see it, can feel it. So it's always about an idea which has no form yet. It's the Tian Ren Di, the heaven, man, earth. Heaven, man, earth. Let me put it a little bit more to the point. Right now we have 8 billion people in this world. Everybody has his own ideas and his own expectations, maybe, how he sees himself and what he would like to do with himself during this lifetime. So that means we have 8 billion different ideas. And one misconception maybe, or just something to meditate about, to contemplate about is, why would this world, why would this life, or even this universe, care about an individual's expectation about life? And now we are not just having one, we're having 8 billion individual expectations about life. We are talking right now about the creator of everything, the creator of the universe, the creator of the planets, of the humans, of the animals, of the plants, of all possibilities in this world. We are talking about this type of force in comparison to the expectation of an individual human. I don't think that this type of force is existing in this world in order to fulfill that individual person's expectation about life. I think it's the other way around. I think that you have been put here on this world as a small individual in order now to be open, in order to receive what that force has to offer you in this lifetime. Which means you are walking through this lifetime without an own idea, more or less, what to do with your life. You are open to receive what this life in a way has to offer you. And how do you know that you are getting these messages, or how do you know that you are on this path that I'm trying to at least present it a little bit graspable to you? Just imagine you are working on a project, no matter what type of project that is. You invest a lot of effort, a lot of time and a lot of energy into this project. But no matter how hard you try, you are not succeeding somehow. Even though you watch around, other people make similar projects, but they invest way less energy than you do. But they are succeeding. It's the Tian Ren Di, the heaven, man, earth. Heaven, man, earth. Which means the human is between heaven and earth. He's like the middleman between heaven and earth. From the heaven, he sometimes receives something, but only he has it. And now, what is he doing? Because he's in the middle, he brings this idea, this vision, boom, onto the earth and manifests it. makes it real, for people to touch it, to see it.
If you enjoyed the video, please consider going to mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the new Inspire Change t-shirts, the LFG t-shirts, the Hardest Worker in the Room t-shirts. Everybody who's been supporting us has made this project possible, and projects like this in the future possible. We cannot fly all around the world with our film crew and ourselves and do these interviews and documentaries without your support. So thank you very much. The support has been amazing and we appreciate it. Also, there is a join button down below where you can consider becoming a YouTube member of this channel by hitting that join button. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed and productive day. Go inspire some change, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.